I was super impressed with the Omni one.
Not only get fantastic exercise for you, but your whole family.
And the Omni goes to you won.
This is in a whole world of its own.
A must-buy for those wanting true VR gaming immersion.
Here's how a nerd in his 30s gets some cardio.
It was definitely one of the most fun workouts I have ever had.
Wherever you look, whatever you touch, you will immediately be impressed by the quality.
At Virtuix, we pioneer movement in AI-generated worlds, whether real or imaginary. Thanks to new AI-powered techniques like Gaussian splatting, we can now quickly make high-fidelity digital twins of the real world using, for example, drone footage.
It's 1 p.m. We're here at a training center in Austin, Texas. We're going to be capturing a scan with our 360-degree LiDAR scanner attached to this drone. All right, it's 1:30 now. We got the data that we need. It took about 20 minutes to capture. Now let's load it onto the computer. It's 3 p.m. We're back at the office. The environment is ready. From start to finish, this whole process took about 2 hours.
Think about applications like virtual tourism, industrial training, or mission planning and rehearsal for defense and law enforcement. Using our virtual terrain walk system, soldiers can walk the terrain before they fight on it and rehearse missions before deployment.
I could bring folks together and see how we would respond based on changes in the environment, but get that very tactile feel. I think it's revolutionary.
For entertainment, we're working on an application that turns the real world into your playground, full of real people and AI characters. How are we going to move in those worlds? With the Omni.
Now, you can play games and stay fit at the same time, or just get your kids off the couch. Walking on Omni One burns about 500 calories per hour. What a great way to get your steps in.
In a future where AI lets us generate worlds, we let you move around inside those worlds. Join us on our exciting journey ahead.
Hey everyone, this is Kenny Coins with Marathon Money, and we're back. And this one is a special show. It's a company that's going IPO, and I know so many people have heard of Omni, the machine where you stand up, you go virtual reality, and you're on a treadmill. Everybody thinks it's cool. When I talk to so many people on Reddit online, they love the product, and it's finally going IPO. We did a ton of research. I got a ton of people that send me a lot of questions, but I want to introduce the CEO, Jan Goetgeluk. His last name was kind of difficult for me to pronounce, but you guys can see it on there, but it does mean good luck. So that's good for us, for people that are shareholders of the company, early shareholders. So Jan, take it off.
Yeah, thanks, Kenny. Thanks for having me on the show. Great to be here. It's a big day for us going public. We pioneer movement in AI-generated worlds. Whether that is that are imaginary fictional game worlds or photorealistic replicas of the real world. You can walk around in those thanks to our Omni technology, like you mentioned. The Omni is an omni-directional treadmill that lets you walk and run around in 360 degrees inside virtual environments, for example, video games. So you're not just standing still, pushing buttons on a controller or a keyboard. You're physically walking and running around inside that world. So it's a very immersive experience. It's also a great way to get your steps in and be active. And we're very excited that we are here today going public on Nasdaq. We're reporting explosive growth, 138% year-over-year and revenue growth rate, and we're ready to scale.
So how does it feel, getting to this point? You've been building this company for years. You're at the point, you got the SEC approval. You're being publicly listed. How does that feel to get to this point?
Yeah, it's a nice reward after it's been a 10-year journey for us and the team. Blood, sweat, and tears to come to this point. But for us, it's really we're only getting started. It's great to get to this point. But for us, it's a means to keep going, to keep growing. Raising capital with the listing, $11 million from Chicago Venture Partners with a $15 million equity line of credit. So that capital allows us to keep growing, keep scaling our consumer product and business, and supplement that with other markets that we're going into, like defense, for example.
And I had a vision that you guys were going to kind of go into the defense space, but before we get further deeper into that, you guys going public, is there going to be a bigger strategic rollout on how you guys are going to attack the market with more business, more revenue? Is there a clear plan to get more purchase? Because I know you guys have two. You can go.
Sorry, you broke up there for a second. Sorry.
No, I was saying I think you guys, because you guys have two ways, from what I've read and research, you guys got two ways of making. You got the Omni One for the individual user. You got the Omni Arenas.
Yeah.
Omni Arena revenue path.
Yeah, Omni Arena is our attraction for the entertainment industry, and we've installed 80 of those nationwide. And so it allows players to experience our Omni technology at entertainment venues. And on the entertainment side, the consumer version now, Omni One, is our core focus for growth. Of our 138% growth rate that we reported, the majority of that is coming from our consumer business. So we want to keep scaling that. But then we supplement that with other markets. We are selling systems in the enterprise market, for example, and we're also into the defense market. And so we have this dual use business model where we have our potentially high volume consumer business supplemented with potentially high margin defense contracts. We already have units at the U.S. Air Force Academy, at Yokota Air Force Base. We're getting traction there with our system for training and simulation in the defense market. And that is a nice supplement to our consumer business for what we believe is long-term growth for our shareholders.
So where do you see the projection? You're coming in the public markets in the beginning of the year, January. Where do you see that defense going? Do you think it's going to a defense contract with the government? Is that going to be like a parlay to kind of create more streams of revenue? Is that the plan here?
Absolutely, yeah. With defense, we're pursuing contracts in the defense market, U.S. Army, Marines. We already have some business with the Air Force, potentially some Navy as well. That brings in high margin top line revenues, but also recurring revenues. There's one area where we're really focused on right now as a company, in addition to our hardware, is AI, and these AI-driven 3D reconstruction methodologies, like, for example, Gaussian splatting, where we can now, in just a matter of hours, create high fidelity, super realistic, photorealistic replica of real-world locations based on camera footage, on drone footage, for example. We can take 360-degree camera footage and turn it into a realistic replica of that real-world area in hours. That used to take months to create these virtual environments. And that now can be done very quickly and very cheaply. And so you can think of great applications for that, including defense, where with our system for the defense industry, which is the virtual terrain walk, we let soldiers walk the terrain before they fight on it. We turn real-world locations very quickly into high-fidelity virtual environments, mission environments, for example, mission areas. And then you can walk around in those with the Omni, get a sense of space, of distance, spatial awareness, plan out the missions. It's for mission planning, mission rehearsal. There's nothing like it for the U.S. military. And they love it. That's really something that is really valuable to them. And it's based on that AI 3D reconstruction combined with our hardware that lets you walk around inside those virtual worlds.
Yeah. So now a few questions comes to mind while you lay that stuff out. To me, that's very interesting that you guys are capable to do that in hours, what used to take months. What is the patent behind those? There got to be some patent, some IP. You guys are collecting data. And also the second question would be, how accurate, when it does take the snapshot, how accurate is the layout once it's created after a few hours, since it's a lot quicker than months.
Yeah. On the IP side, we have 25 patents today, 5 more pending, covering hardware, software, game integration. So a very strong patent portfolio. The Gaussian splatting underlying technology is machine learning and AI related, and most of that is open source. So that's not our IP. That's an existing technology that only recently became available, and we're building on top of that. And indeed, being able to create those environments quickly. But then what do you do with that? You make it interactable, walkable. You have to do a lot of other things with that environment to make that usable. That's where our know-how and our IP comes into play. And then with the Omni walking around in those spaces for these applications I mentioned, that's the revolutionary part. That's where we start to win contracts and make recurring revenues from the software, from the simulations themselves.
So how should investors think about mix between customer hardware, commercial installation, and software and content over time?
Yeah. The consumer business and the defense business, the military calls it dual use, where there's a defense tech and defense application, but there's also civilian use. In our case, a civilian use case of our technology is our consumer business. It's gaming, it's entertainment, combined with the exercise and the health benefits of that. We're scaling that, we're growing that. And combining that with defense, kind of a higher margin, longer sales cycle, but much bigger contracts. It's that dual use strategy that is our model for creating growth going forward. Whereas in both models, there's an upfront revenue stream from the hardware, from the systems we sell, and as recurring revenues afterwards from selling software and subscriptions. On the game side, for example, we make recurring revenues from selling games, from our Omni Online subscription. On the defense side, there's recurring revenues from creating simulations and licensing fees for the software that come with our hardware.
When we talk about hardware, content, so that thinks for me, you're kind of you get more stuff installed, more things are out there, more of your hardware's out there, more of your logo, your brand's out there. Are you going to become a platform-based company? Is that like the slow transition? Because that's where I can see the reoccurring business, reoccurring revenue coming from, where you would get more individual client to spend more on your platform if they already have the hardware. Is that where the direction is going?
It's part of it. I think the word platform is sometimes overused or overhyped by companies. Ultimately, on the entertainment side, our model is similar to a console model, like an Xbox or a PlayStation, where you make money from the hardware sale, and then you make money from revenues from selling games, selling subscriptions. And similarly, on the enterprise side and defense side, same model. We sell upfront hardware at a good margin, target margin of 40% on our hardware, and then recurring revenues from software, from subscriptions, from licensing of the software.
Okay, so like basically you already have something laid out for the next couple of years on how things are going to go from hardware, and then it's not going to be like a platform, but it's going to be like almost its own world. It's kind of say, because that's kind of like what PlayStation, Xbox, and all them do. They create like their own world where you kind of spend money. It's like almost like GTA at that point.
Yeah, the more a user base grows and the more units we sell, the more software revenues will come in. So the software and the recurring revenue component will continue to grow over time as a user base grows. And so, in that sense, it is similar to an Xbox or PlayStation on the gaming side for a consumer business.
That swagger that get us, but I'm low key, I'll make it look easy. No hesitation, I'm in the mood. My motivation, I got nothing to prove.
as you're going about to get listed, as you get listed, you're going to run across people that doesn't understand VR well. For those investors that don't understand VR, what can you say to them that, in a simplest form for them to understand how this business is going to grow and how you're going to take up market share, and this is worth putting their investment to for long term?
Yeah, we take virtual reality, to the next level, and really fulfilling that promise of VR. I think VR with just a headset where you're looking around and while you're sitting down and pushing buttons, it's okay, but for us, it's not enough. What we add is the ability to move around inside virtual worlds, inside video games. And it appeals to a lot of people. The majority of our customers that buy our consumer system do not yet have a VR headset. This is the first VR purchase that they make, because they're not interested in just a headset, but our complete system where you can walk around inside VR. I mean, that's mind-blowing. It's highly immersive. It's also active and healthy. Our players, they burn calories while playing video games. One customer reported he lost 40 pounds in 4 months using our product. You burn about 700 calories per hour if you play an action game. So those exercise benefits are very appealing. So we provide this as full body VR experience that is beyond anything that you can do with just a headset. So that's why our sales are growing quickly. Our consumer business is expanding quickly because it's an experience you can't have in any other way. And similarly, on the enterprise and defense side of our business, this is revolutionary. There's nothing like it. Yes, the VR headset provides benefits, but the ability to move around physically inside virtual environments, that is of another level, and we make that possible. And now, with AI and these AI-driven 3D reconstruction methods like Gaussian splatting, where we can make these beautiful photorealistic environments quickly, real replicas of real-world locations. Wow, cheaply, quickly, you put your VR headset on, you're in that location. That is so useful, so valuable for so many industries. Now, how are you going to walk around inside those worlds? For that, you need the Omni, you need our technology. So we miss that. We fill that missing piece of virtual reality, and it hasn't been done before. And we're the only ones doing it.
No, that's amazing. When you talk about exercise and talk about, it just seems so many ways you could actually take this. Is there a partnership with like a company like, for example, Weight Watchers or exercise company, or is that something you guys are going to be working on internally? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good question. We do see our system first and foremost as a gaming system with exercise benefits, which is, we think, a more appealing product than an exercise system with gaming benefits. So it's very much gaming first. It's immersion, and the exercise, the benefits, the health benefits come with it. So we don't want to overplay those. Now, we are adding features of how you can track your stats, track your health, how many calories you've burned, build in some goals, some progression towards those goals. So some of these typical fitness progression stats and functionality we want to add to our product as well. But it's first and foremost a gaming system. That's key because it's much more fun to play video games than to work out.
100%. I was watching this boxing VR, and the guy lost almost 1,000 calories in an hour doing it. So I believe something that with your technology that's so far advanced, definitely do the same thing or 2 times X that. So how should we, as an investor, think about margin and production sales as you're getting listed? So how should we think about that?
You mean over the margins on our products?
Yeah.
On our consumer systems, we target a 40% gross margin on the hardware. Now remember, then we supplemented recurring revenues from software. So I think that's key for any hardware business, is to have healthy margins upfront, and then juice us up over time with recurring revenues over the lifetime of the customer. And on the enterprise side, the margins are higher. We can achieve a higher price there from our customers, and recurring revenues as well. So we want to create a healthy business, and with the capital we're raising, keep scaling that.
Yeah. So, my main question is going to be like, I want to get more into the investor side as you get in publicly listed acquisitions for long-term play. Is that something in the future as more AI companies, more VR companies are out there? You do have competition in this space. This acquisition definitely helps companies like yours scale faster and not have to constantly, when they want to create a new stream of income, start from scratch. Is that part of your plan as a leader of this company?
Definitely, that's definitely in play. It's also one of the benefits of going public, having a public company share price and shares as a currency, if you will, to make acquisitions. There's a lot of opportunity there for us to grow our revenues through acquisitions in some of these markets we're going into, like defense, as other enterprise markets we're exploring as well with our technology. So there's opportunity there for us to enter those markets through acquisitions and grow our revenues.
So what can you expect this year from your company who's getting listed? What can investors expect? And bring a realistic view about it. A lot of retail investors, they come into it, they think you might explode, might this, but what can they expect the retail investors, institutional investors can expect from you? Like, by the third or fourth quarter, what should they be in the lookout for? What would make them, you would say that make them feel good about, say, okay, this is a stock to hold. This is a company that's going somewhere.
Yeah, well, look, we're ready to scale, especially also with this listing. We get the capital behind us to keep scaling, keep growing. On the consumer side, we did report 138% growth. Our aim is to keep going and keep growing on the consumer side. And a major catalyst is also getting their first major defense contracts in. Now, that's a long sales cycle, but we're actively working, getting traction in that space, and that could certainly also move the needle in a big way for our company.
Jan, I really appreciate you coming on. I really thank you so much. I'm really happy about your company, IPOing and getting yourself out there. I look to see for the future. I definitely want to come back in a few months and talk about where you guys are. I know this next few months is going to be a lot of up and downs and a lot of new things coming your way as you are a publicly traded company now. So one thing I want to do is ask if how are you going to basically get institutional companies, because that is a big capital environment, and it does make a lot of people want to follow if you have institutional players that are invested in your company for long term. I know you raised a lot of money, and over the last couple of years, I saw the fund you raised. I know I looked on. You had a public raising for about $3.2 million. Am I correct?
Now, we raised $50 million in the private markets from some big name investors like Mark Cuban, several venture capital funds, some strategic investors as well to date. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's amazing. I know there was a lot, because I did see there was a lot of people that wasn't accredited. You had a fund that for people that wanted to be a part of your company. I saw that did really, really well. You guys, I think you guys were like 90% away from your goal. I think your goal was like 4.2 million. I'm not sure on that, but there was one fund that you guys raised. So it's very, it seems like there's a lot of interest to this. So my thing is more, competition. Also, how can you keep other people from replicating you guys?
Yeah,
so that kind of be my final question.
Yeah, it's a great question, Kenny. I mean, in that regard, first and foremost, we have a strong IP portfolio, 25 patents covering our mechanical designs, motion tracking, other parts of our technology, several more patents pending, and we keep adding to that as we develop and improve our technology. The second is that what we do is not easy to replicate. It's not a simple widget, but just some plastics that people can just copy. It's a big piece of hardware with metals, plastics, electronics, fabrics. Then there's motion tracking to track people's movements. Then you have to integrate that into games or applications. So it's a complete vertical integrated system, and that we spent 10 years perfecting and developing, with so far $50 million in private market capital. And now on the public side, we'll keep accelerating our growth and develop new products. But we have a long head start, if you will, on anyone who wants to copy us. We have one main competitor, which is a Chinese company that has copied our products, and it's just not as good as ours, I would say. We're happy to have some competition, but I think we're far ahead of competitors in this market with our technology and the quality of our products.
Man, that's exciting. I'm glad that you guys do know your competitors. Good that you guys are far around the curve. That's something that a lot of investors want to hear. We want you kind of be in the space of your own. And that also opens back to what I was saying about you're able to acquire other companies when you're ahead of the curve. You'll be able to assess what the market needs, and you'll be able to create the demand for the market as well. So, Jan, I once again, I thank you for coming on the show. We're coming to the end. Is there one thing you want to say for the people that are listening to you for the first time and looking to invest in a VR company like yours?
Yeah, I'd say come aboard, join our journey. We're VR, but mixed with AI, and really close on the AI developments in our space that are really a game changer, and really deliver the full promise of virtual reality. And so we're at the cutting edge of that. We have an exciting future ahead. We're working on some really cool developments. Check out our website. You'll see what we're working on around AI and how that's going to impact our industry. We're growing. We're ready to scale. And I'd love for people to follow our story and join us as an investor.
Guys, check them out. Look at their website. All their information will be below. Everybody who's on Marathon Money or listening through Spotify and Apple, everything will be in the information. I'll have to click. And, happy trading.